Welcome back in the huddle, talking Science Hill Hilltopper football. I'm your host, Tom Taylor, and me, oh my, 106 points, coach, over 1,100 yards of offense. Wow, we had ourselves a barn burner up here last weekend, and of course the Hilltoppers prevail 59-47. You sat right here and said, Tom, they're 5-5. They're a better football team than that record indicates. They played some tough people. Once again, you were right. They gave the Hilltoppers all they wanted.
Well, I think anytime you get in the 6A playoffs, I mean, you're going to get a good opponent. And those kids that came away from winning 3 big games and had a lot of momentum, a very young team, had a young quarterback, was probably one of the best young quarterbacks that I've seen in a long time, maybe ever. I mean, he has that much potential, just a tremendous player, and had some other guys too. But, I mean, the big thing, we probably wasn't ready for that game. And first, that's my fault more than anybody, but then our kids too. You got to respect every opponent, and I don't think that exactly was the case coming into it, and I think it affected us. And thank the Lord we were able to rally at halftime. But just like I finished talking to our kids, today, that, we don't want to be rallying at halftime. You need to rally on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday when you practice, and get that straight, because it's hard to beat good football teams when you come out with that mentality. And we were able to pick it up and turn that switch on, but that switch about didn't come on, and about come on too late.
Absolutely. Against Bradley Central, of course, the Hilltoppers won it 59-47. So obviously, we'll talk about this a little bit later on the show, but obviously they're looking ahead to the rematch again Friday night, the big rivalry, and you won the first time out, so that was in their brain, and I guess that kind of carried over. But apparently at halftime, you had one of those rah-rah kind of sessions to get them going at halftime, right?
Well, I don't know if it was rah-rah, but it was, it was do or die. I mean, it's single elimination, and those guys, and it was important to everybody at that point. And, of course, because they knew, they saw it slipping away. But, the testament to our kids, they were able to get it together and pull it together and play very well the second half and fight through it and get a win. But, it was one of those deals, and it's easy for anybody to look past that game.
Sure.
And that's coaches, players. I know we're 16, 17-year-old kids, but even as all our coaches, grown men, you have a hard time with it, because it's that emotional playing Dobyns-Bennett. And sometimes being the winner might even be worse than being the loser. Both those situations are not real good when that comes up, and you got a good opponent you're facing. I think both teams struggled because of that. I think we really saw a big difference in Dobyns-Bennett playing Morristown East and us playing Bradley Central. Thank goodness we both got through it, because we can have this rematch. I think everybody was kind of looking forward to it. Both teams were excited about it, and the communities are excited about it, but we about didn't take care of business.
We'll talk more about that game coming up here in just a few minutes. Let's set the 6A playoffs. Who's still left in the Sweet 16 in 6A football across the state of Tennessee? This is, of course, the second week or the second round of the TSS AA playoffs. Sevier County goes to Maryville this Friday night. Of course, Science Hill hosting Dobyns, as we talked about. Also around the state, Riverdale goes to Blackman. You have Murfreesboro, Oakland home to Laverne Friday night. You have McGavick traveling to Ravenwood. Also, you have Centennial on the road to Hendersonville. Also, you have Friday night, Rossview will be traveling to Whitehaven. And also in the western part of the state, you have Arlington home to Houston. So those winners advance to the quarterfinals. And, of course, the big game coming up Friday night, as we said, will be Science Hill hosting Dobyns-Bennett. We'll have more about that. We'll take a quick break, come back. Let's go down a lot of highlights as the Hilltoppers and Bradley Central, 106 points of offense in terms of scoring last Friday night at Kermit-Tipton Stadium. More as we come back. We talk, again, Science Hill Hilltopper football. Head coach Stacy Carter right here on In the Huddle.
From the day they're born, there's one thing most Johnson City families look forward to. Sure, for the baby to be healthy, smart, and happy, but also to be a topper, a Science Hill Hilltopper, for them to be part of one of the best high schools in Tennessee, where they'll be academic achievers, make friends for life, and play sports like no one else. So for all of those budding toppers out there, be patient. You'll have your day. From Champion Chevrolet Cadillac. where we think being a topper is an experience they'll remember for a lifetime.
Wake up to a new, better breakfast. It's Golden Corral's tastier than ever ultimate weekend breakfast buffet. For one low price, it's our new buttermilk pancakes, bacon, sausage, signature omelets, and more. Juice included. It's a better breakfast, and it's only at Golden Corral.
Welcome back to In the Huddle, talking Science Hill Hilltopper football. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. Again, the Hilltoppers' big win last Friday night over the Bradley Central Bears. Cole Copeland, remember that name? Coach's kid, the quarterback for Bradley Central. He said in the first segment, this kid's going to be one you'll probably see playing somewhere big time on Saturday afternoon if everything goes right. This kid's the deal. He's a heck of a quarterback.
I was very impressed with him. Seen a lot of good quarterbacks, and this kid's special. He really is. You can see him throwing in warm-ups. Sad thing for us is we're going to see him the next 2 years. Very elusive, probably runs a 4.6 40. I mean, he is a fast kid, tall kid, rangy, gets it out of his hands really quick. Very accurate. Maybe we was hitting him on a good night too, but definitely we're going to see great things out of that young man. It's a pleasure to watch him as long as you're not playing him.
As long as you're not playing him.
Yeah.
And they probably say the same thing about Malik Magoo because this kid had a heck of a night. We'll start, though, our first touchdown. Set this one up. It got started with about 9:15 to go in the first quarter. Science Hill strikes first. 5-play, 68-yard drive capped off by Justin Bedard's 49-yard run. Set this play up.
Well, it's just a little zone play to the left. Again, it's very similar to the one he ran against Dobyns-Bennett. He bounced it outside and was able to outrun guys down the sideline. Justin's been able to do that. He's really worked hard on his speed, very strong, got in the weight room, and another great run from Justin. At that point we think, hey, things are pretty good. We're moving the ball very good, and then that's when everything kind of went bad after that touchdown.
And that means bad, meaning Bradley Central came back and scored back-to-back touchdowns in the first quarter, leading. They had their second touchdown. Point fails. They lead 13-7. Then they come back and score one to start the second period. But then the Hilltoppers put together not one, not two, but three straight scores, starting with the Elijah Mathis 5-yard pass from Malik. And set this play up for me, would you please?
Well, we moved it down, and we ran a shallow crosser, a little shallow cross we ran for a long time with receiver comes from the other side, and we caught him in a blitz, and Malik was able to get the ball out of his hand quick and hit him probably about on the 2-yard line. He was able to make a good move and actually carry a guy into the end zone for a second score.
You can have a quick strike offense in Science Hill, or in this case, you had an 8-play, 74-yard drive, so you had a sustained drive. So obviously you like to score quick, but if you have to, you proved this in this particular drive that you can put one together and put together an 8-play scoring drive.
Well, you want to be able to do both. I mean, because the further you get down the road, the better teams you're going to get, and you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to put together drives. I mean, you're not going to get the 80, 90-yard touchdown or the 80, 90-yard touchdown pass every time. So you're going to have to be able to do that. So it was good to see our kids be able to make a drive like that.
You're watching In the Huddle, the head coach against Stacy Carter, talking Science Hill Hilltopper football. The second score, Elijah Mathis, 51-yard pass, 4-play, 61-yard drive, thing of beauty. Describe this one for us, would you please?
Well, it kind of broke down a little bit. Malik does what he always does. He kind of rolled out to the left and was able to find Elijah coming back to the ball. And Elijah gets an open field. He is, him and Malik and Mikey are the three most dangerous kids we have on the team when they get in open field, and he was able to make a couple cuts and take it to a big long touchdown in the end zone. And we really got to find a way to get it in 25's hands because he's did this all year and he just keeps doing it, and just very proud of his performance.
Final touchdown on the road to give the Hilltoppers the lead. Again, it's an 8-play, 71-yard drive. Malik takes it in from 2 yards out, being a typical Malik Magoo, and just found a place and kind of found that hole to get in there for the touchdown.
Just a series of zone reads he was able to do. He has his option of giving it or pulling it, was able to pull it and shoot right in the end zone, and another big play for us.
Yep, and so Science Hill goes ahead on that particular point after by Ranella, 28-19. You think, okay, things may be good, but nope. Here come the Bears with back-to-back touchdowns again. They come roaring right back, and that's the sign of a good football team. You said earlier in the first segment they'd won 3 in a row. At this point, you earn your way to get into the playoffs, and so they're there for a reason. They're a good football team, and good football teams come back and score, and they did. They came back twice to score back-to-back on the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, I think they did that in 18 seconds. It was, one of those things. They got an onside kick, was able to do a trick play that went bad for them, and we had it covered, and then a guy rolled out and threw one up in the end zone and for their second score because big momentum shift for for us, it really hurt us. Bradley Central really went up and had a great momentum shift. You scored twice in 18 seconds. Pretty impressive.
And then they went into halftime, as you heard him say in the first segment, had a little chalk talk, got things kind of set up there for the Hilltoppers. Must have worked, come out in the second half. Third quarter, of course, you go in down 33-28. Come back in the third quarter, Malik scores twice on 2 runs. And set these up and describe them for us, please. A 5 and a 10-yard run in the third quarter by Malik.
Well, basically, the same type of play. It was a zone read. He was reading the end. The end crashes down. He was able to pull it and made two great plays right there. All night long. I mean, he did that, and he reads it too. It's nothing that's predetermined or anything like that. It's on him. Sure, he wanted his number called. At halftime he knew what he was going to have to do. He knew that we were going to lean on him for the whole second half, and we did. And it was just a great score. 2 big scores right there for us.
You're watching Scienceville Hilltopper football. In the huddle, head coach Stacy Carter. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. Coach, we saw him up close and personal during the video stream a couple of weeks ago against Dobyns-Bennett. The leg strength on that windy, cold night of Alex Ranella. And we always talk about the importance of the kicking game. And so the other night, he hammers in a 27-yard field goal, which is big in this football game for Scienceville.
It was big. We thought we should have scored there, and kept kind of stepping on our toe there and messing things up. And he was able to come in there and get points when we needed it. And cold night and just a perfect kick right through the uprights.
I would say kicking out of football this time of year is probably like trying to kick a center block. It's cold, it's hard, and I'd say, I suppose I've never kicked. You have to give a little extra oomph to get it up and kind of get it going because it's an old, cold, hard football.
It definitely is, and we're always on the kickers to make sure they get over there with the heaters and make sure the kicking ball gets warm because it is like kicking a center block, and it definitely affects the distance. And maybe the air the other night affected the distance a little bit too. There's a lot of factors that that could have happened right there, but we definitely struggled kicking the end zone on Friday night.
At this point in the game, again, Scienceville's up by 12, 45-33. Bradley Central comes back to score to make it 45-40. Then this guy named Magoo does it again. Again, a heck of a run from 39 yards out. Describe this play for us.
It's one of our jet motion plays that we have. We had a jet motion come through. He faked it. We ran a power with the quarterback. Something it's part of that series that we do, and he made a phenomenal run. He really did. Cut back, made 100 different moves before he scored, but just a great run and he just kind of took it on his shoulders. We really needed him to pull it together right then. I think he had 280 yards rushing, which is just a phenomenal night, well over 100 yards passing. So pretty good night for the quarterback.
Absolutely. So at 8:49 at that point, you're up 12 points. Are you standing over going, okay, we may have this one. 8:49, we're up 12. Or did you know that team across the field is going to make another run?
Well, I don't think we ever relaxed because we were having trouble stopping those guys, and to the bitter end, we were scared in that game. We feel like we had let them get momentum, and that momentum really never stopped for them. So it's something we had to fight till the buzzer went off at the end.
And it went off, but not before the big-time run. Describe this one with only 1:27 to go in the football game. There he goes, number 7 again, big Justin Bedard. Huge touchdown for Scienceville to seal the victory.
Well, it was a big deal for us. At that point, we're right near the 45-yard line, and we have a 4th and 4.5. Really, we didn't know what we were going to do, and we called a timeout, didn't know what to go for. It's kind of in no man's land where the ball was. So we had Coach Nelson been working on a play all year long to try to draw people off sides, and we thought that was a good time to attempt it and see if we could do that first. And it was one of those things that worked. We were able to get the first down with the shift punt and move the chains. Then I think Malik ran for another about 4 yards, and we ended up getting in double tight and putting it on our O-line. Had another timeout, and we were able to bust that next run. And it was all the O-line, and Justin bust through there and basically on nobody, and ran a big touchdown for us.
Guy runs hard, doesn't he?
Runs very hard. Always runs through the first tackle, and just a talented kid. We say this all the time. He can run, he can catch it, he can throw it, he can do about anything. So he's a special talent.
Of course, Scienceville hangs on to win the ball game, as you know, but now 59-47 to set up the rematch and the showdown with Dobyns-Bennett on Friday night. Malik Magoo coached 28 carries, 280 yards, a career night on that category. Rushing for 4 touchdowns, it's a career night for him in that category. You had 67 total offensive plays. You had 48 rushing plays. Malik had 28 of the 48 rushing plays. So he wanted that ball, and he wanted his team to be put on his back. You did that, and he answered the bell, obviously.
He definitely did, and has all year. And these big games, we really lean on him. We leaned on him in Brentwood Academy in a Siegel game. He knows when we have to. We don't want to do that every game because we don't want to get him hurt. But it's playoff time now, and the team was slipping, and he was able to make those big plays to get us back in it, and really just had a tremendous game for us.
As you said earlier in the show, ain't no tomorrow. You got to do what you got to do to get that W, right?
There was single elimination.
Yep.
And we about messed up. We really did. And our guys rallied, and hopefully it was a warning shot to us, and make sure that we're going to come out here and practice and get everything going good for this next week, and hopefully a huge run in these playoffs.
We mentioned Justin Bedard, 9 carries, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns on the night. So another big night for number 7. And so they did dodge that bullet. And so now we get ready for the showdown. Again, the rematch. We'll take a break and come back and let Coach scout a very good Dobyns-Bennett team coming back, looking for revenge. Hilltoppers looking for a back-to-back sweep of the same season of the Indians from Kingsport. We'll talk about that when we come right back with more as you're watching Science Hill Hilltopper football.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
And welcome back. We're talking Science Hill Hilltopper football. Head coach Stacy Carter. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. And Coach, again, you see 47 points put up by Bradley Central. Think wasn't much defense out there, but you had some kids step up, big plays, big times in the ball game. So let's give those kids some props.
Well, Bryson Tolley has just had such a great season. He's a sophomore. I'm glad we got him back for 2 years. I think he had a great game. He really did. He fought the whole way. Probably the best tackler we had the other night, and we missed a lot of tackles. But he played very well. Quentin Alabocas, a junior, getting healthier every day, and he was relentless and kept fighting through the whole thing. And he had a big night also. So proud of those two guys. As far as the defensively, we were there. Just didn't make the plays. And they made some plays, too. Taking nothing away from that team, it was one of those nights where they were catching everything, and everything was kind of going their way. And, but our kids fought and scrapped. We had a couple of interceptions dropped that we usually don't do. I think Mikey had 2 balls he dropped that he probably would have returned for touchdowns, could have turned the whole game. And he doesn't do that. He's the one who always makes the play. But, some nights there's like that in football. The ball is just not going your way, but we were able to overcome that, and that's what I'm proud of these guys about. They were able to overcome the adversity and able to get the win.
And so that sets up, of course, the showdown, the rematch this Friday night. 7 o'clock kickoff, of course. All the playoffs are 7, with Dobyns-Bennett coming back over to Kermit-Tipton Stadium, and another rematch. Of course, a couple of weeks back it was rain and blowing wind and weather conditions not so good. This Friday night, they're talking about a polar vortex, so it's going to be cold. I think the daytime high on Friday is only going to be in the upper 30s. Obviously, it'll drop when the sun goes down, so it'll be cold. Not so much the rain or wind this week, but weather may play into this football game. And let's talk about it. The Indians are coming back for round 2 here in 2014.
Well, first of all, in the cold, you can play in the cold. It's the wet and cold that really messes with you. So we're glad. Hopefully, it's going to be dry. But I don't know a better scenario. It's kind of it's always when the weather gets bad. It's kind of hard to get kids up this time of year. And you've been doing this for 12 weeks. So you're coming up here and you're going to do it against Dobyns-Bennett. It's a little bit easier to get your kids motivated. So I think it helps the coaches out. It helps the players out. I think it helps both teams out because, let's face it, we were playing Morristown East or they were playing Bradley Central, this game wouldn't be as big. And this is why we play these. So I think both coaching staffs will tell you that, hey, they're excited about this game. I know we are. We're excited about it. And I think there's a lot, the stakes are high. and the fans are going to be in it, which it's what we want, and it is a difference. So it's a big thing. It's a big thing for a program, and to get the opportunity to do this twice is you can't write it up any better.
Absolutely. And he's right as far as the weather. It's easier for folks to come out here and bundle up Friday night than come out here and sit in the rain. I've talked to a lot of folks that went home, watched our video streaming the first time because of the rain and the wind. But this case is going to be cold, good old East Tennessee cold weather. So you bundle up. And so having said that, get ready for a huge crowd, maybe a bigger crowd than you had the first time out. Scout this football team. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but they come with a lot of weapons and a very well-coached team, as they always are at Dobyns-Bennett. So scout the Indians for the second game.
Well, it's a good football team. We found that out 2 weeks ago. We know they're a good football team. Knew they were before that, but offensively, really strong up front. I mean, really tough up front, and then they got a good quarterback and a lot of guys to go with it out there too. So, we were very impressed with them. Defensively, they throw a lot of stuff at you. I mean, probably more than anybody we've seen. Last game they had 2 weeks to prepare for us, and I think we saw about everything they could draw up on the board. So, with that said, we've seen a lot of their stuff. I'm sure they can come up with some other stuff, but we've seen a lot of it. So I feel good about that. But I think it's going to come down to which team wants to win this game more, and who wants to advance and who wants to keep playing, and I think that's going to come down. That's the key to this whole game for us.
I know you talked to us after the last game they played, or you played with Dobyns-Bennett, that you changed because of the weather. Not so much one of your offensive packages. You said you really haven't even tapped into yet because it's more run oriented, and you went to the air more during the football game the first time out. So there's a facet of the offensive scheme for Science Hill that they haven't seen much of right now going in, right?
Well, there definitely is, and we ran the ball a lot. It was more of a physical game, but couldn't throw the ball much. You couldn't throw the ball much at all. So you're going to see a more balance, hopefully, offense for us all the way around. I think it's how it needs to be, and if we can do that, I think we're always better when we do that. But it's good to know that we can line it up and run at them because we showed we could do that. So that's always good to have. But we want to be balanced. We want to do everything. We want to run. We want to run the backs. We want to run the quarterbacks. We want a quick screen. We want to throw downfield. And if we can do all that stuff balance-wise, we're a pretty successful offense. And but some nights, some things are working better. So you just got to go with what you got the hot hand at.
And that's what I meant to say is the fact that, again, they didn't get a chance to pass as much. They ran more because of the weather. So you may see more of a passing package coming up Friday night. As Coach said, a balanced offensive scheme against Dobyns-Bennett. Psychologically, you've lost 19 in a row. Then all of a sudden you win last year and this year. So you're going for 3 in a row. We talked after the last DB game about the Hilltopper kids have that swagger, that confidence. They feel good about playing these Indians again. So how much does that play into 16, 17-year-old kids the second time around?
Well, I think it does play into it, and we've told our kids, no matter what we've done already, this game's the one going to be remembered, whoever puts the next team out. So it's that important. So it don't matter about any conference championship right now. I mean, the last one standing is who's going to win this year. So, the stakes are very high for us. On far as the confidence, that would do a lot for our program to get 3 wins in a row, and it starts mentally working on those guys too. And Dobyns-Bennett knows that too. You don't know how they're going to respond. They've always responded well. They're going to come out and play, but they got a lot of pressure on them also. So there's a lot of pressure on both sides for this, and that's what makes it a great game.
Absolutely. Of course, the winner will get the winner of the Maryville-Sevier County game in the quarterfinals next week, and so somebody will go home and somebody will move on to play in the quarterfinals of the TSSAA playoffs. And Coach, last question, injury situation for Science Hill and the kicking game. How big will that play into it Friday night? And as we said earlier, cold, wintry night. Again, here in Northeast Tennessee coming up on Friday. How big is that kicking game, and what kind of injuries do the Hilltoppers have going into the game?
As far as injuries, we look good. We didn't get anybody injured last week, which is probably the best thing that came out of that game. So we didn't get anybody hurt, and the win, of course. As far as the kicking game, it's going to be like it was 2 weeks ago. It's going to be 2 good kickers going at it. It is going to be colder. I think you might have to see probably look at your return teams because your kickoff teams and kickoff return teams might be a difference because maybe all the balls will not go in the end zone because it is colder and it's going to change things. It does every year, so that aspect could change things in this game.
So the key to this thing, in your humble opinion, is who wants it worse, who's got that motor, the bigger motor Friday night to do what it takes to get that play here, play there to help the Hilltoppers prevail, right?
I think we can look at X's and O's, and both teams are going to be, pretty well coached on those because we've seen each other. So I think it's going to come down to who wants to make the plays and who wants to win this football game, and we're saying we do, and I'm sure they're saying the same thing. So it's going to be a heck of a ball game.
A whammer jammer. How's that?
Whammer jammer. Sounds good to me.
Hey, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yep. Head coach Stacy Carter, again, the head coach of the Science Hill Hilltoppers. We'll have a show next week talking about either a Hilltopper victory, moving on to the quarterfinals, or a season-ending tribute to the seniors. And, of course, obviously this man here says we want to be talking about going to the quarterfinals next week. And so that's the goal, to use the team that's not very good right now, my Oakland Raiders. At one point, Al Davis would say, just win, baby. That's what this man says. Just get us a W, and let's get out to the quarterfinals. So we'll talk about it next week. Thank you for watching, and have yourself a great week. Hope you'll turn out Friday night to a great showdown. Kermit-Tipton Stadium, 7 o'clock kickoff. Science Hill, Dobyns-Bennett. Winner moves on, loser goes home. It should be one for the ages Friday night. As always, we remind you, win or lose, be a good sport. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. You've been watching Science Hill Hilltopper football. So long, everybody.